Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of my podcast. We have a very special guest today, all the way from Singapore. We have Mikael Loh of Ilemauzar. Hi, Mikael.
Hello. Hi, Channa. Thank you for inviting me.
So, how are you doing?
Yeah, to your very wonderful podcast, actually.
So, how are you doing this morning?
Uh, Actually, I'm still recovering from a bad flu over the week, over the whole week. Yeah, so I was being put on stay home notice, actually. But of course, I did my swab and everything went okay. It was negative, so I'm allowed to go out again. If not, we have to do this at home.
Right. So, how is
Yeah.
the situation in Singapore now? What's happening with? Is it?
Basically, the COVID situation is pretty much controlled. Of course, I wouldn't say there's zero infections like daily, but there'll be like it's less than 10 per day. Yeah.
Right.
So it's still pretty much better than I guess a lot of places in the world. Yeah. But of course, we are still not allowed to have our live shows
Right.
until further notice. Bars are closed as well. Yeah, and you can only drink like alcohol until 10:30 at some cafes. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, it's I mean it's the guys who are involved with live music, they're really affected because of this, right?
Very badly actually. Yeah. So, but some of them actually, like especially those production companies, they are pretty much getting more integrated with doing live streaming.
Right,
So that's how they have to sustain their business. Yeah.
right,
And for us, probably, you know, we were pretty much okay. We were affected a little bit here and there because while we were setting up, I think you know about the After Dark studio that Bambox set up in Singapore.
right.
Yeah. So in the midst of setting up the place, they do a lockdown for 2 months.
Yeah. So what do you do in the studio? So it's a rehearsal studio, or you do recording as well, or?
Currently, it's still a rehearsal studio, but probably we're gonna upgrade it and we're gonna do like basic recording, live recording was only. Yeah,
Right,
not really like multi-track recording, but more to live recording.
right,
So I believe uh, it also helps the jammers, like they get to record their stuff, they bring it home, they listen, then they improve from where their mistakes are, which is actually some of the things that we thought about. Yeah, so hopefully by end of the month we can do the integration in. Yeah.
right.
Mm.
So, Mikhail, I think I first met you. I saw you guys perform probably early to 2019. I think probably I've seen you before, but we never got connected. But I
Which
think
band?
Henry, I think Henry is the one introduced me to you. I
Ah,
think it was
I think the 2019 one you
early.
saw was Sprengkopf, I guess. The
Yes,
black
yes,
metal band.
right, right.
Yeah. Yeah. Henry was the one who actually told me about you. So I was like, okay, nice to see people flying in to watch bands and everything.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
because I normally used to come, like I'll stay in Singapore like 3-4 days and I'll watch all the shows. I really miss doing it.
yeah, I can see that. Yeah, every time when there's a live show, you will always be one of the first few. Yeah, let's go, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, so Mikhail, can you tell me a little bit about your childhood and then like how did you get into music?
Like heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, I grew up in a very Chinese orientated family, because we are just very those traditional Chinese family.
Right.
Yeah, but my father actually loves music as well. He listens to a lot of like old Bee Gees, old Kenny Rogers, all those kind of Boney M, all those kind of bands and singers. So and of course Michael Jackson.
Mm.
So I grew up with all those stuff around him, listening to all this type of music, even Chinese music as well. So, but one day when I was like slightly older, like during my secondary school days, like when I was around 13 or 14, my brother actually, he let me listen to some Firehouse, and I told him like, oh, this is nice. So I went to go and look around, go and find music like Guns N' Roses, Metallica, and suddenly I stumbled on this Iron Maiden because of the cover. Then I see like, Eddie at the front. It was a live album. It was called A Real Life One, pretty old live album. So I was hooked to the cover.
Right.
So I went home. It was a cassette. So I went home. I popped it into a cassette player, and the first thing I heard was, "Wow, this is music that enticed me." And slowly, I ventured into. I met a few friends in like in the neighborhood, and he passed me some CDs.
Mm.
And the first CD he actually passed to me was their side Legion album.
Right.
And what the fuck is this? So I went home, I pop it in. I'm like, whoa, whoa, wow. Yeah. For a 14-year-old boy listening to that, you're like, wow, this is good, man. Of course, I don't understand how they play the guitar or how they play the music. So and of course I don't understand what Glenn Benton is singing as well. So I have to pick out the lyrics and like, wow, this is satanic, man.
Right.
Yeah. So that's how I slowly ventured into heavier stuff, like all the heavy stuff. Even towards I think the first band that I fell in love with for black and death metal was Dissection from Sweden. Yeah. So that's where I slowly move on to other stuff. Yeah.
Right. So back then, how was the scene in Singapore back then? Did you watch any local bands? Were there any local
Like
bands?
compared to now.
Yeah.
Oh, back then the local Singapore scene was a lot crazier. Uh, Mostly are all local shows because last time it was very difficult to bring overseas bands to Singapore due to we don't have very good internet
Right.
and communication is always very bad because everybody is going through snail mail, so it's really slow. Uh, and of course overseas courses are very expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty difficult to get overseas bands to come here to perform. So basically we have local shows but they don't happen so often, so everybody is staffed and they once we have a local show everybody will just boom just go to the show. And we the first few bands that I actually saw like for death metal, the first band that actually really caught my attention was Rudra when
Mm.
they were playing at this McPherson ITE. That was like in 1995 or 96. Yeah. Uh, I was still venturing, to think where, how I want to form my band, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So, um, Rudra, and slowly I know more friends. We started doing black metal. Yeah.
Right.
And after that, I slowly find out about now one of our greatest black metal or black metal band in Singapore, Impiety. Yeah.
Right.
That's how I slowly find out about them. Then there's also Ignos, a very old death metal band that is one of the best during that era,
Mm.
and still is the best. Of course, they are all these are the bands that I grew up with
Right.
during my time.
So
Compared to now, I would say due to too many, I guess because people choose nowadays.
Right.
because there are too many shows. Yeah, so choices are there, so you won't get as many people as what we have, of course, last time, because last time you don't have a choice. It's either you go or you wait again.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was talking to my friend about this early in an early episode, because now with the Spotify and all these things, so you can just listen to that music and the band that you like. You don't need to care about anything else, right? You're just
Um, Pretty much yes, but yes and no.
yeah,
You still want to see the band if you really like them, of course. You want to meet the bands, you want to talk to them, have them sign some of your merch.
right, right.
Yeah,
Because
it's totally different. Like, of
yeah,
course,
because
listening
because
to Spotify.
yeah, Mikael, because back in the day we didn't really have a choice, as you said, like whatever comes on our way, we will listen to it, we will go to the shows, whatever.
All right.
We didn't really choose like, oh, I'm going to be focused on this genre, just this genre. No, I will listen to it. So that's how I sort of grew up listening to like everything, whatever that is coming in, because I lived in Sri Lanka, so it was even tougher because there was not even a local scene back then.
But I heard now they are big.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. They're growing very good now.
yeah.
So when did your first band idea come, and how did that happen?
You mean the very first band last time?
Yes.
My first band. Okay, my first band was actually formed with a group of with a friend of mine who now lives in Germany.
Mm.
Uh, his name is Michael. So he passed me like a few CDs and tell me, I like Dark Throne, I like this, listen to Emperor, blah blah blah. He was okay. He was one of the guys that actually get me deeper into like black metal stuff. So um, we decided to form a band, and that's how it goes. And I just find one of my schoolmate uh, to play drums, who
Mm.
always play drums for me when we were jamming, like in like high school jam kind of stuff. And we found the founder of the current band that I'm with, the Ilemauzar, the guy, the creator of Ilemauzar. He actually uh, got me, like we got him to play the second guitar for that band, the first band that I formed. Yeah,
Right.
and we played one live show, and boom, we split up.
So how did you join the Ilemauzar?
Oh
How did
yeah,
that form?
that one was okay. So during the creation of the band, uh, since I invited him to play for my band, he invited me to play for his
His
band.
band. Okay.
Yeah, so that's how I actually got into the band during the process. During the earlier days, the process of the band when they were forming up. Yeah, so it started off like a very simple Greek style black metal kind of band. We play very simple, not really simple, very more rockish kind of
Right.
riffs. Yeah, but slowly we evolved. Yeah, and he decided to retire. Yeah, so and asked me to carry on with the band.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. So you guys put out finally, I think that album was, you were working on it for several years, right? You put it out in 2017 or 2016, right? The
16. Yeah,
Ascension
yeah.
album.
But prior to that, we actually have a full length. Long time ago,
Mm.
we recorded it in 1999, but the studio closed, and I lost all the files.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but fortunately, I think I have it stashed somewhere, a backup copy. But we have no intention of releasing it at the moment, uh, until I actually found the stash.
Right.
And I only because we only managed to retrieve the intro and the first track of the album. So we are still trying to look for the rest of the 6 tracks from that. Yeah. So my ex-female vocalist might have the cassette somewhere. So if I can get my hands on it, maybe we will try to do a like release it as lost files. Yeah.
Right, right.
Mm.
So how do you describe Ilemauzar music? I mean, what the themes are about, and what sort of message are you trying to put out on the songs?
The on which the last album?
Yeah, last album.
Last album, the ideas were pretty much very dark, and I would say it's very anti-religion. Yeah. So because we don't really care, we just write what we feel.
Right,
Yeah. And the songwriting wise on the music itself was done by me and an old friend of mine, the old drummer who's supposed to do the recording, but unfortunately there was some internal dispute, so we didn't manage to click on that. Yeah, so yeah, lyrical wise, like I say, is very anti-religion and blasphemous as well. Yeah,
right.
some people might be offended because of the lyrical content in there, but it's metal, so who cares?
Yes. But that sort of messages are very hard to put out in Singapore, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, especially as in a multiracial, multi-religion country. Yeah, it of course every country is have multi-religion, but here is very very sensitive,
Right,
especially you know if you enter this religion, people find out, their group of people will get, they'll start to flame you on that. Then this group will flame you on this will flame you on that. So it doesn't benefit the band as well. But like I say before, it's black and death metal. It's supposed to offend. Yeah.
right. So you guys also performed other places outside of Singapore?
Oh yeah. For Ilemauzar, yes. After the release of okay, before the release of the album, The Ascension, we played like three festivals in what's that place called in Indonesia. Um, because we after of course it was after the release of the promo,
Hmm.
the three-song promo. We did we did like weekend shows, festival shows in Solo, Indonesia, in Makassar, Indonesia. Yeah, two major festival and one small festival. Yeah.
Right.
Then we after the release of the album, we did a small tour, like Malaysia, Indonesia, and Hong Kong and China.
Wow.
Yeah, that was like in 2016. Yeah.
Right. So Mikael, I also know you that I mean you're doing your Vent Box productions and booking agent and all this stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
how did you get into that side of things? You know, like promoting and organizing shows, that sort of thing. How did you get into that?
Promoting shows. It started off as a hobby, like
Right.
just want to watch a band that I like. So my first band that I brought into Singapore, it was not under Vendbox, of course. The first band that I brought into Singapore was Behemoth. I guess you know that.
Yes. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
2013, right?
yeah, correct. Yeah, that was with the old partner, uh, Revision. Revision was they are the owners of Hammersonic.
Right.
So basically, it's like a collaboration, but of course, is fully financed by myself. And yep. So from there, I realized that you know I'm a local band myself, so I prefer to help my local bands to have platforms to showcase their music, and that's where how Vanbox actually came about. And because it was the whole idea actually came out from my girlfriend, my long time girlfriend, who yeah, her name is Winnie.
Mm.
So she's actually the main mastermind behind the Vanbox production. Yeah,
Right.
and she planned out all the itineraries, the shows, the crews. Yeah, and mainly I just do bookings and getting the bands in and getting the production set up.
Right.
Yeah, but of course, how we get into booking is through the first band that we actually booked was from France, Necroach. Can see the
Right.
t-shirt. Yeah, so Necroach actually was the first band that we booked to come to Asia. Just a short tour, 3 shows, but it strikes me, like, oh, why not? Maybe I can try later on, get more bands to come to Singapore, especially the bands that I like.
Right.
Yeah. Then at the same time, actually during the time when we did Necroach, John, my auntie from Incantation, was contacting me as well,
Right.
asking me to help with funerals. Yeah, but didn't work out because I told him I was busy with Necroach tour, so I can't do it for him. It was an unfortunate situation during that time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But of course, like I said, thanks to Necroach, we become a booking agency. Yeah.
So
And slowly, yeah.
after Necroranch, what are the other memorable bands? I know we should talk about Watain, but before Watain,
Watain
what are
wasn't
the
booked by me, so yeah, it wasn't my show, so I was just
right?
helping out on the Watain show. That's all. Yeah, but
What are the other bands?
other than Watain,
Yeah.
my most memorable one should be the Vomitory Tour last year, because that was the only tour. That was the second tour that I actually followed the band throughout the whole tour.
Right.
Yeah, of course, it was a very hectic schedule because we have to fly all over in Asia, and the time schedule was very tight. And sometimes we almost got, especially going to Mongolia, we almost got like barred from flying.
Right.
Yeah, so due to visa issues, but everything was settled last minute, so we get to go to Mongolia to finish the last show of the tour. Why it's memorable? Because there were many funny incidents, especially the earthquake in Davao. Yeah, we were down for breakfast. Two of the guys from the band were down from breakfast. Eric and Urban, and Tobias and Peter were still asleep in their room. We took our breakfast, put it on the table. The next minute, the building shakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, I have very good relationships with bands like Incantation, Mr. John, my auntie,
Right.
good friend of mine, and yeah, we did his tour 2 years ago, I guess. Is it 2 years ago? Yeah, around there. Yeah. Then who else? What is that band? Devilish Impressions from Poland. Yeah,
Poland, yeah.
those are cool guys. Very fun when they are off the stage without their cosplay on. They are fun
Right.
people. Yeah, yeah. But of course, on stage they look really like
Yeah, actually, right. When they get off and remove the paint, they're so sweet. But on stage, they look like they like
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you saw them, yeah, during the Metal United Worldwide. Yeah. So, and of course, Necroach is one of Vambok's important bands on the tour roster. They are on the permanent tour roster along with Dark Mirror of Tragedy from Korea.
Korea, right? So you
Yeah.
also have presence here in the Philippines also now, right? When Box.
Oh yeah, Henry is handling that part of the Philippine side. So usually when there's a band touring, Henry will be the one contacting the promoters there, to set up shows over in Philippines. But if sometimes if really we can't get any promoters, like for example the last one was I think there was once we did the Vader show ourselves with Jerry from Cebu Extreme Yeah.
Right.
So that was like in 2017, I think. Was it? Yeah, somewhere around 2017. We did the Vader. Was it 17?
Vader was 2017. Yes, I think it was
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
2017. Yeah, because
So
2017 was one of the year that there were so many gigs on that year. I went to 51. I went to 51 shows on that 2017.
yeah, so yeah, Vader. Yeah, we did the Vader show in Cebu ourselves, collaborating with Cebu Extreme,
Right.
Mr. Jerry. So yeah, it was not that bad, but we were expecting something better, but we were hit by the Slayer show.
Right. Oh yeah. Ah yes, yes. It was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we just have to accept, that okay, Vader and Slayer. And if let me choose, of course I'm a Vader fan, so I choose Vader. But the majority, I always think,
Yes.
fuck, it's gonna be Slayer, man. No way.
Yeah.
So we just have to accept it, and we move on. It was a decent crowd. It was decent, yeah. And of course, Ilemauzar was playing on the show as well. So that was our first time playing in Philippines.
Mm.
Mm.
So, Mikael, how did you meet Henry? How
How
long
did
you
I meet
know him?
Henry?
Yeah.
uh, we went. Okay, we met each other the first time. I guess was at this show. What show was that? The Arch Goat show.
Ah,
That
okay.
was in Singapore. That was in 2013. Yeah. So that was
Right.
the first time we met, and I think I met him a while. Like saw him at the Obituary show also in 2013. Then slowly we start contacting each other. Then one day I just tell him, "Hey, bro, you want to come down to have a drink with me?" He's like, "Okay." So we actually sat down and near his house, we at the coffee shop. We sat down and drank beers like from 10 p.m. up to 5 a.m. talking about just one band, Behemoth.
Right.
Yeah, and that was the time when I was telling him like, "Hey, bro, you know what? I think I'm gonna bring Behemoth to Singapore."
Wow.
And he's like, "You sure?" I'm like, "Let's wait and see." And it happened. Yeah,
So,
and of course, how we actually, yeah, that's how we met, and how we actually start to do this Bandbox Philippines thing, because uh, we think that we need more, footholds in uh, Southeast Asia.
right.
So, and easier for the bands to tour as well, and easier for him to communicate with the promoters over there. Yeah. So yeah, that's how it goes. Hopefully, we can have more shows next year
Right.
once the vaccine is out. Hopefully, the real one.
So you mentioned about Behemoth. So how many times have you seen Behemoth now, Mikael?
Twice.
So that is your show, the one you
My
promoted at,
show,
and
yeah,
and then
and
and which
Rock and
one?
Solo, where we share the stage with them.
Right.
That's the only time. Yeah. So only just twice. Uh, and of course, the recent one,
uh,
the live stream.
Live stream, yeah. That was I mean it's beyond the live stream, right? Because they did it so well.
That live stream is mind blowing.
This these other bands just that they just put their practice sessions or rehearsal sessions on live stream, and then the boom,
Yeah,
Behemoth put it like nobody can catch that level again, right?
that's the thing. Yeah, that's the whole idea of the band. Like they have grown to become a monster. So I have friends who actually ask me, "Hey, bro, will you bring in Behemoth again?" I'm like, "No." Why? I'm not rich.
Yeah, they become so big now, right?
Yeah,
Probably the number one band on probably on the black metal scene, right?
cool.
Behemoth.
Yeah. I wouldn't say they will be number one, but they are on top of the chart
On
definitely.
right.
Yeah, comparable with bands like if we are talking about black metal, comparable with Demon Boogier, um, and of course big bands like Creator of Youth and a lot more. But
Mm,
of course they are there, up there.
up
Yeah,
there.
same thing on top.
Mikael, regarding the vent box, I noticed that there are set of bands, local bands that always plays on your shows and supports
Uh-huh.
you. And when I go to a show, I always see like it's mostly the same people that you would see in the gigs, right? It's a like bunch of friends. I have become a lot of friends from those gigs. Can you tell me a little bit about the scene and the bands around Ventbox in Singapore?
Ah, you mean like always like you always see the same bands playing
Yes.
once or like the changes is very small like once a while only, right?
Right.
Like you always see Assault.
Yeah, Clarence, yeah.
Clarence is gonna kill me. Okay. One thing why okay, for example, Assault, they are always on our show most of the time because firstly they are on our tour roster. We always want to promote bands from directly from our tour roster first. Yeah. Um, apart from Assault, which bands do you always see?
Uh,
Example?
I remember Assault, and then what's the other band of Kain's band? Uh, I've seen Kali Yuga you played, but that was a one-off
No,
show,
Kali
right?
Yuga only played once.
One of
Yeah.
one-off show.
Yeah. Okay. For example, very important one is Metal United Worldwide. I try not to repeat bands every year.
Right.
Try to rotate, get new bands to play. But of course, if we really can't find any bands who are interested to play, then we have to put in bands ourselves.
Yeah,
My
the
bad.
last. So how long you been doing Metal United worldwide gigs?
Which one? Say again.
You did was it the first one, the Metal United worldwide last year, or you did it
Oh
earlier as
no.
well?
The first one was the year before. Yeah.
Right.
So this year by right supposed to be the third one, but of course everyone got screwed by the virus.
Yeah.
So uh, Black Rose decided to postpone it to next year. So yeah, the first one was in 2018.
Right.
It was the first one. Uh, had a very good turnout, but we played in a smaller venue, not like the one in Red Lantern. It's really huge. We played in a smaller venue at Decline, which is already closed.
Yeah.
We had a sold out show. There was no tickets at the door at all because firstly, I guess because it's the first one and representing the whole of the whole of Singapore to play metal to the world.
Right.
Uh, at the same time, the lineup was really great. We had a great lineup of bands. We have Wormrod, we have Rudra.
Wow.
We are like pulling out all the big guns just to play, just to do that show. We have even old bands like Bastardize coming back just to play. And we have a few new ones as well. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a memorable event. Yeah.
It's very rarely that Womroth plays in Singapore, right?
Not really. It depends. Yeah.
Right.
Uh,
Because
sometimes, yeah.
those
But I think this was the second time they play for our show. I think. Yeah.
because they were very busy with touring the other countries, right?
Oh yeah, they
Womroth.
are busy. They are really busy touring with touring the world. Yeah. But of course now no one can tour.
Right.
And yes, they are busy touring. That's the reason why it's very hard to catch them to play a show. Yeah, that's the reason. That's also the reason why you hardly see them playing live here.
So last year, the Metal United worldwide the show in Singapore, I believe, because I saw, like, I was looking at the other gigs, even though they were doing something in the Philippines, but I think you guys had like the solid lineup, and that venue was great, and the bands were super. Like, I wasn't expecting that you will put like devilish impressions in that in that gig, right? It was a really great show.
Yeah, the devilish impression one was we almost didn't make it because we couldn't find shows in between from the Indonesia festival until Metal United Worldwide. So
Right.
they had to stay like 1 week with no shows. Yeah. But of course, they were very kind enough to tell me that they are okay with it as long the hotels are paid for. So everything was settled. Thomas was really a good friend. No complaints. Very nice people. The whole band was nice. They were the nicest people I ever, talked to. Yeah.
Right.
So just pure luck that we have Devilish Impression, gracing the stage for Metal United Worldwide in
Yeah.
Singapore. So hopefully the next one is we actually plan to have a like full local lineup again. No more overseas bands. Yeah.
Right. Is Backcruise is planning to do it in 2021?
Yeah. So it has to be because we are actually planning on getting this done annually. So it has to be an annual thing. Of course, we need interest from the world. Yeah, not just few countries. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Michael from Black Rose, he is the one doing all the hard work, talking to promoters around the world to get them, interested to ask them whether they are interested to join this movement. Yeah, to have the
Yeah.
most metal shows happening in one day.
Actually, I was even talking to him last year about doing it here in the Philippines for this year.
Okay.
And I also introduced him to the promoter in Sri Lanka, so which I think they were also planning to do, but everything it's like
Yeah, everything gone down the drain for this year. Yeah,
yeah,
we were like so excited, to get this year running again because I was very happy because we have a very good local lineup. But unfortunately, everything just have to stop. Yeah, and I'm not sure about next year because we are running out of venues in Singapore.
mm,
Only left with commercial venues. Um, if we are looking at like bar venues itself, Red Lantern is sold. So I'm not
wow,
sure how we're gonna work
right.
with the new owners. Yeah, next year. So uh, if not, then we have to find another venue, or maybe just resort to using the commercial venues that government are handling. Yeah.
Yeah, that venue was great because you can just walk out and it's the MRT is just outside, right?
Yeah, and you can have your drinks there. You can, the only problem there is food. It's hard to
Right,
find food over there. Yeah, other than that, everything is fine. Of course, if you want to have food, just go opposite, to the Bread Talk building.
right.
There's a lot of food there. Yeah.
So, Mike, outside of metal, what else do you do? Like hobbies and stuff, other interests? I know you play games, right?
I'm okay. I have a full-time job myself. I'm not just every day sitting here in the studio. I
Right.
actually have a full-time job. I'm a I'm an exporter for exporter, importer, wholesaler, and even doing like e-commerce on video games. So
Right.
some of the guys like Subash from Kali Yuga, Truth Be Known, sometimes they'll call me like, "Hey bro, you have this game? I want to get it from you." I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah,
So
yeah. Have you seen his YouTube channel? This Geo website. What is this called?
who's one?
Subash. They are doing
Oh, Geo
video
play
games.
game.
Yeah,
my bassist Zion is my bassist for Ilemauzar. He's one of the guys for Geo play game. Yeah.
okay.
So
It's
we
so
always,
funny.
yeah, it's very funny. Yeah. So other than that, yeah, I also not just video games. Okay, I'm a avid video gamer. I can sit there bloody whole day. For the past few days when I have my stay home notice, I'm like sitting there like almost 8 to 10 hours a day, just sit there to play game, doing nothing but playing games. So other than that, I also collect figurines, action figures,
Right.
expensive hobbies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mikael, one thing we forgot to talk about is I saw you guys perform for the probably that was for the first time when Sprengkopf performed last year, right? That
Uh-huh.
show that was that your first performance? The
You saw
the
the Sprengkopf show you saw is which one?
the one with the Indonesian band, right? You the
Oh, is it the one at the Morbid Metal Fest?
yes
The one at Decline?
Decline, yeah, that show.
Ah, that wasn't the first show. Our first show was actually we played SBMS Festival alongside with Angel Witch. Was it? I think. Oh no. What is that band name? I can't remember. Yeah. And Bowser. We played the same show. That was our first. That was held at Aliwa Art Center. That was the first time we play live as a full band.
Right.
But slowly, the ones that you watch, I guess we only have one guitar and one bass because our other guitarist was having some commitments, so he couldn't make it to play with us due to too much work. I guess he's being like overworked every single day, so he has to sit out on the shows. Of course, he doesn't feel very good about it, but we don't have a choice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was I think the one you saw is the second one or the third. Yeah.
Yeah. So whose idea was to create this band, Sprengkopf?
The Sprengkopf band was actually just a spin-off of what I to vent my frustration. Because when I have songwriting mental blocks for Ilemauzar, I will start to create stupid or just simple attacking riffs which will not be released on Ilemauzar stuff because it
Right.
doesn't work that way. It doesn't fit in the band. So I saw those unused riffs, so I was like, oh, maybe I just try, record it and see how it sounds. So I record the first song. Then I'm like, oh, this sounds not bad. So I called my friend from Indonesia, our sessionist drummer sometimes for Ilemauzar. So I call him like, hey, Bon, you want to play black metal band with me? He's like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, I wrote some riffs. He's like, okay, send over. So I sent over to him. He's like, sure, I'll play that. That's how we got in the band. Just two piece at first. And I got my drummer from Ilemauzar to play guitar. And we got Ash from Welkin to play bass. And at first I wanted to do like guitar vocals, but I kind of get very lazy after have to do vocal duties for Ilemauzar. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't do vocals anymore. Just concentrate on guitars. So
Right.
I just keep thinking, who should I call? Who should I call? So I'm like, just one day I text Henry, like, hey bro. He's like, yeah, you want to sing for Sprengkopf? It's like, you sure? I haven't been singing for years. I'm like, just try. Fuck, nobody cares. And that's how the band was formed. Like full lineup. Yeah. Songwriting is just pure nonsense.
I mean, you guys call it atomic black metal, right?
Yeah, we just want to play things that are fast. Just fast and rip everything off people's face,
Right.
Just in your face, pop, kind of metal. Yeah.
It's so amazing, actually. I was really.
And the lyrical content is on bullshit, like nonsense about apocalyptic stuff, like nuclear fallout. Yeah, but on a very hellish kind of way, satanic stuff. Always
Right.
praise like Satan is coming, blah blah blah. Kind of thing. Yeah. Of course, it's not a joke. we are going to be very serious about this. And right now, I'm actually doing the backing, like the guiding track for the drummer, so he can start doing the recording for the EP for Sprengkopf.
Wow, that's
And
nice.
at the same time, we are also busy prepping Ilemauzar to finish up the recording, yeah, for the next album. So
Right.
I'm a busy man.
So, Mikael, what's your message to the people who support you in your gigs, coming to see your shows, and fans who
I
listen to
really
your
have to
music?
say a very big thank you to everyone. Wherever they are from, wherever they come from, you as well, because you take time, time off from your work, fly down all the way from Philippines to Singapore, just to watch the shows, and I'm being very grateful because a show is, to me, like the show doesn't happen if I'm doing it alone,
Right.
or if no one is going to come to the show is not successful at all. So everybody plays a part in this community to build the scene, to get bands to play, to watch the bands to play, see your favorite bands. Yeah, everybody plays a part because no band wants to play to an empty crowd. Yeah.
Right.
And I hope they can support more local bands, which is very important, because if no one is supporting the local bands, if you're not supporting your own local bands, who else is going to do it?
Yeah, right. Because I think people should remember that these international bands are actually local bands before, right?
Yes, correct. International bands themselves are local bands, so they also suffered in their own country
Right.
until one day they grew so big. Like for example, even for Behemoth, now they have sold out shows in their own hometown, but I don't think they have last time until they grew to this size. The current Behemoth. Uh, of course, everything goes through with hardship, and especially people who are supporting them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, I really thank those people who are believing, Vanbox to do shows and keep coming in to support every time when we have a show.
Right.
Yeah.
uh, can you tell everyone about your studio? What do you do in the studio, and how they can get in touch with
Oh,
you if they want to use the studio?
if they want to book for like their rehearsal, okay. Basically, our studio is very basic. We have basic setup for the studios, and we only use like tube amps, which is the proper tube amps for shows. And how to contact us? We actually go through with our Facebook Messenger. We have Facebook Messenger. We have our telephone numbers, which is also on our Facebook itself. That's where they can contact us to book their rehearsal bookings, the rehearsal slots. We only have one studio, unfortunately, because we space constraint wise, and we want our jammers to have very good space, so they don't feel so tight in a small studio.
Right.
Yeah, and of course, we are looking at. That's also one reason why we are looking at doing recordings later. Yeah, why I'm looking that side, because that's my studio. In that, yeah. So basically, Messenger or telephone, WhatsApp, yeah, just normal message or call.
Right.
We will be there. If we have slot, we just slot you in. Currently, we have promos as well. Yeah, like 3 hours for $50.
Wow. Sweet.
Of course, we can't compare to Philippines jammings, like the prices, because Singapore everything is expensive, rentals,
Yes. Yes.
every shit.
Yeah.
Even our government is expensive.
So, Mikael, thanks for joining this podcast, and I also want to thank you guys because when I like come to the Singapore and come to the gigs, I feel at home because I don't feel that I'm outsider because the community is
Yeah,
so
I
great,
know.
so friendly. I have so many friends. I made so many Facebook friends and real friends like Clarence and all these Kyle and all these guys. So I really thank you for organizing these gigs and keeping the scene alive.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thanks,
Yeah,
Mikael. Thanks. So all the best. I hope you can put out some Sprengkopf music.
yeah, we're gonna put out Sprengkopf stuff soon, and of course Ilemauzar as well. So just watch out for the news on our Facebook. We will do a lot of updates, and let you guys know the progress of
Right.
the bands.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks.
Thank
So
you,
everyone,
Channa.
hello. Ilemauzar, check out Ilemauzar Facebook, and then also on Spotify, the album is there, and then Sprengkopf Facebook, Sprengkopf
Yes.
official.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you, man. Thank you,
See you, bro.
bro. Thanks.
Right.